So I decided to replace my desktop computer with a Raspberry Pi. This video was largely out of curiosity, because I feel the landscape of the Raspberry Pi has changed a fair bit over time. Back in the olden days, the Pi was largely marketed as a tool to teach children about computers, electronics, and programming. Back then, Raspberry Pis weren't very powerful, but as long as you had enough horsepower to run a lightweight Linux desktop, it didn't matter. As time has gone on though, the Pi has become more powerful and more desktop-like. Instead of being used to control electronics, I see a lot of people use them for things like servers and retro game consoles. So can the latest Raspberry Pi 5 replace my PC? Well, we're about to find out. Specs-wise, we have a Broadcom BCM2712 quad-core system on a chip. This is an ARM-based SoC, so it's not based on the x86 instruction set used by Intel and AMD. I recently looked at an Orange Pi 5, which has an even faster ARM SoC, the Rockchip RK3588S. While this SoC isn't as fast, the popularity of the Raspberry Pi means software support is a bit better compared to most other boards. Another advantage of the Raspberry Pi, at least if you live in the UK, is shipping. Most SBCs are made in China and sold on places like AliExpress, where shipping is long and expensive, whereas you can buy a Raspberry Pi on Amazon and have it arrive the next day. The Pi is available with either 2, 4, 8 or 16GB of RAM. The 16GB model is fairly new, but I have the 8GB model. By default it boots from a microSD card, but you can also boot from an SSD with a little hat extension. The Pi is powered by USB-C, but you will probably need a dedicated power supply, because the chances are your bog standard phone charger doesn't provide enough current. Now that we've spoken about the hardware, let's get into the software. There are quite a few operating systems available for the Pi. Some are for specific purposes, but for general desktop use, your two main options are Raspberry Pi OS and Ubuntu. In my last video on the Pi I used Ubuntu, but in this video I'm using Raspberry Pi OS. It's also possible to get Windows 11 running through a project called Windows on Raspberry. I don't use Windows myself, but I decided to try it out because why not? The installation process was very slow, but the actual desktop experience was better than I anticipated considering Windows is generally more bloated than Linux. However, it's not very usable due to a lack of drivers, so you're better off sticking with Linux in my opinion. General desktop use is very good. Raspberry Pi OS comes with both Chromium and Firefox, but I find Chromium works a bit better, and you'll have no problems browsing the web. 1080p YouTube playback works just fine, though 4K was very choppy in my experience, although part of that could be due to my internet speed. A lot of free software on Linux is natively supported on ARM, and you shouldn't have any problems with common programs like KeePass, Thunderbird, Element, and LibreOffice. Things are a bit hit or miss with proprietary software though. For example, the official Discord client doesn't run natively on ARM, but there are third-party clients like WebCord available which basically do the same thing. A lot of software is available in the apt package manager, but since it's Linux you also have other ways of installing software like Flatpaks, app images, compiling it yourself, or there's a really neat tool called Pi Apps. When it comes to creative software, I use Kdenlive for video editing, Krita for thumbnails, and Audacity for voiceovers, and all of that works just fine. The native build of FreeCAD also runs with no problems, unlike the Orange Pi 5 Pro where I could only get the app image working. As for the video editing experience, I initially had a problem where I couldn't preview the project, and the output would just be green. I don't know why that was the case, but switching to the Flatpak version seemed to work, and the experience was actually very smooth. Both this video and my last video were edited on the Raspberry Pi. I couldn't get OBS or Blender working. Simple Screen Recorder works, but to preserve performance, the footage you're seeing was recorded externally, even though the video was edited on the Pi. Another thing I should point out is, by default, Raspberry Pi OS uses Wayland. That might explain why I had trouble with the native build of Kdenlive, but I'm honestly not too sure. I know when I tried Hyperland on my main system, I had to use the Flatpak version of OBS. I then moved on to some local generative AI. Not my kind of thing, but I know people are curious about this stuff. I used Llama 3.2 in a program called Alpaca, and the results were pretty mixed. Sometimes you get a pretty good result, other times it starts off well and then kind of just falls apart, and I'm not sure if this is the language model or the Pi's hardware. Performance isn't blazing fast, but I honestly expected it to be a lot worse, and it's worth noting there's an AI hat available for the Pi. Now onto some gaming. I've already made a video about gaming on the Pi, so this time round I will primarily focus on games I haven't tried or games I couldn't get running last time. I started by installing Steam through Pi Apps, which automatically installs Box86 and Box64. Although Steam runs on this system, it's very slow and glitchy, so it's not a great experience. Last time I tried Xonotic, it was completely unplayable, but I only tried the Flatpak version. This time round I tried the Flatpak, the official binary, and I even tried compiling it from source, but the best result was actually with an x86 app image being emulated through Box64. A similar thing happened with OpenArena. I had to turn the resolution down to 800 by 600, and there are some noticeable microstutters, but it's a much better experience than last time. I don't know if there's a problem present in Ubuntu that isn't present in Raspberry Pi OS. Next I tried Minecraft. Last time I ran Minecraft 1.12.2 because I couldn't get newer versions to run. This time round I was able to get the latest Minecraft 1.21.4 running, and at 720p low it's pretty good. If you play on a busy server like Hypixel, it's a bit laggy in the lobby, but in game it's a lot smoother because there's not as much going on. Moving on to Steam games, I started with Papers, Please, and it ran flawlessly. I then tried Hotline Miami, and it also ran flawlessly. By the way, this game is freaking hard. And it's the same story for Celeste Classic, which I installed through Pi Apps. There were also a bunch of games I tried to get working, but they either didn't launch, kept crashing, or were unplayable. So to answer the question, can I replace my PC with a Raspberry Pi? I think I actually could for the most part. I obviously don't intend to, and I'm not saying you should either, but if this was my only option as a computer, I would be fairly content. I'm already familiar with Linux, Raspberry Pis and free software, so I don't have as much of a learning curve as someone else. But notice how I say most part, because some things just aren't really doable. I can live without certain games because I'm not a huge gamer anyway, but other things like virtualization and recording capture card footage aren't really feasible on the Pi, which is a bit of a deal breaker to me. Virtualization is technically possible because I've done it on the Orange Pi 5, but performance is really slow, especially if you're emulating an x86 host. You might think I'm being a bit harsh or unfair because the Raspberry Pi isn't made for this kind of stuff, but that's the whole premise of this video, to push this thing beyond its limits, and I'm honestly very impressed. That's it for today's video, and until next time, cheerio.